Okay, here we go. We left off at the pan tool with no audio. Sorry about that. So we're continuing with the toolbox. The toolbox. Continuing with the toolbox. We're going to study. That's all this is about. We're going to study together. We're going to study together. Okay. So we left off with the pan tool. So now we're coming to the touch-up tools. Touch-up tools. The clone tool. Say it again. The clone tool. Say it again. Look at that picture. Look at that icon. Look at that whatever you want to call it. That's the clone tool. The clone tool lets you duplicate. The clone tool lets you duplicate part of an image. I can make it into another image. I can make it as many images as I want. I can duplicate it. And that allows me to apply it to another part of the same image. Or I can take that duplication and apply it to another image. Wait a minute. That would be enough for some, but not for us, because we're studying this because we want to master. We want to be an expert in Corel Draw. Touch-up tools. Look at that picture again. That's the clone tool. That's the clone tool. The clone tool. The clone tool lets you the clone tool lets you duplicate part of an image and apply it to another part of the same image or to another image. Look at this. It's another touch-up tool. Another touch-up tool. Wow, how about that? Okay. The red eye removal tool. We're not going to have to study on this as much. We're not going to have to commit this to memory as much because the image is self-explanatory. Is that how you pronounce that? Self-explanatory? The red eye removal tool lets you remove what? The red eye effect from the eyes of subjects in photos. Okay. There's your red eye, and that's what is supposed to be the expected results. The red eye removal tool. The red eye removal tool lets you remove the red eye effect from the eyes of subjects in photos. The subject is this woman, and she has the red eye effect. And by using the red eye removal tool, we were able to remove the red eye effect. What's this? Another touch-up tool. What's this called? The touch-up brush. The touch-up brush. Look at it again. Look at it. Meditate on it. You see that scratch mark? That's an indicator that it's a touch-up brush. Maybe to repair scratches? The touch-up brush. The touch-up brush tool lets you remove imperfections such as tears, scratch marks, and wrinkles from an image by blending its textures and colors. So apparently in the example, you see where there was the scratch here, or the tear, and they began here and already have removed some of that tear mark. Let's do it again because we're going to be experts at Corel Photo-Paint. Look at that icon. Look at the scratch mark. Look at the icon. That is the touch-up brush. The scratch mark should give us a clue that that's to remove scratches and wrinkles. Man, now here I am. I'm near 62. I could use that. Somebody takes a picture of me, I could use that. Whew, man. Oh, I'm hideous. I'm hideous. The touch-up brush, that's what we call it. The touch-up brush. The touch-up brush tool lets you remove imperfections. Remember that. That's the touch-up brush. Lets you remove imperfections such as tears, scratch marks, and wrinkles from an image by blending its textures and colors. So it would take a sample of this white, and then it would use that sample, and then you would like paint over this scratch mark with a brush the size hopefully not much larger than the scratch, right? Then when you get to here, you change the sample to this color, then it makes a brush that you would use to sample this color, and you would erase that by applying the brush. Then when you get over to this area where it's a little darker, you would make another sample, take that brush until you get to this point, then you would sample right here next to this, and then paint over here, and that might actually work till near about the edge. You could take another sample here, and then paint over with the touch-up brush and completely fix this tear and have a great looking photo. Here we go, the healing clone. Healing clone. Look at that, it's got a band-aid on it, the healing clone. You want to heal some imperfections? Do you have pimples? Do you maybe have a stain on your shirt? Did you spill chocolate on your face and you didn't know? There it is. With the band-aid, the healing clone tool. Look at that. They're showing a blemish on this lady's forehead. We're going to get rid of that. So, the healing clone tool with the band-aid lets you fix photo imperfections seamlessly by painting with sampled texture that matches the color of the surrounding area. Uh-oh, liquid tool. Liquid tool, still going through the toolbox. Liquid tool. I don't know what I would use this for, but maybe doing a psychedelic type image. Playing around, Maybe, under the influence, maybe? Anyway, liquid tool. This is the liquid smear tool. Look at that. See how it's smeared? It's like it's smeared over to the right, and smeared. This is the liquid smear tool. Lets you create an effect similar. Is that how you pronounce that? Similar to dragging wet paint. So the liquid tool, you see that? Liquid tool? The liquid tool, liquid smear tool, lets you create an effect similar to dragging a wet paint. I have to learn more about that one. Look at this. The Twilight Zone. The liquid twirl tool. You know about the swirl? Did you have to tell it? What did you tell Putty about the swirl? The swirl. How did you know about the swirl? That's my move, the swirl. The liquid twirl tool lets you create swirls from specific image areas. So, see, look at that. They took this boring tea And look at this creative art. Look at this, the results from using the liquid twirl tool. Look at that. Oh man, that's so much better to look at when you're reading something than this. Why, that's just old school. That's just conservative nonsense. Give me the liquid twirl results any day. Any day. Again, there's the swirl. The liquid twirl tool lets you create swirls from specific image areas. All right then. Ooh, what do we got here? What do we got here? They call this the liquid attract tool. The liquid attract tool. The liquid attract tool lets you reshape image areas by pulling pixels toward the brush center. Cool. So you got this A that's pixelated. All you got to do is put this brush over this area anywhere. You click, I'm assuming you left click, and it draws this toward the center. I don't know, I just like that. I don't know why I like it, but I do. Remember, commit to memory. What is it called? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Got a pep quiz coming. Got a pop quiz. Oh, Miss Pooty, you shoot is fine. Pop quiz. Miss Pooty. Hey, pop quiz. Liquid attract tool. Liquid attract tool lets you reshape image areas by pulling pixels toward the brush center. Liquid tool right here. Look at it again. Liquid attract tool lets you reshape image areas by pulling pixels toward the brush center. Uh-oh, the liquid repel tool. Look what it did. Look what it did. It turned that, instead of inward, it turned it outward. Outward. Miss Pooty. The liquid repel tool, instead of inward, that's supposed to mean inward, toward the brush center. This is supposed to mean away from the brush center. So you can't really think of that as away from the brush center. You're just going to have to memorize this and what it does. Memorize the liquid repel tool. The liquid repel tool lets you reshape image areas by pushing pixels away from the brush center. Effect tool, pop quiz, effect tool, pop quiz. Memorize it, memorize it. Got a test coming. The effect tool, memorize the effect tool. Look at it again, the effect tool. The effect tool lets you perform local color and tonal corrections on the image. We're going to have to find out more about that, okay? Because I don't know anything beyond that. So we're going to learn together. Let's commit this to memory. The effect tool looks like a squeegee for silkscreen. Looks like a squeegee. You would put your hand around this handle, and that would be your squeegee blade. Because a lot of you are watching right now are screen printers. The effect tool. The effect tool. Once again, the effect tool lets you perform local color and tonal corrections on the image. Local, I'm assuming, means close up. Text tool, man, there's a lot to this one. People use this all the time. I barely know anything about it, I think. And I don't think I know a lot about this, but I've used it a few times. The text tool, who cares if you've used it a lot? We're learning this. Who cares about you, Stu? let's get the teaching. That's easy enough, the text tool. That's easy enough. That's easy to remember, that tool. The text tool lets you add text to your image and edit existing text. Brush tool. Brush tool. There it is. That's on the toolbox. Is that called the toolbox or the toolbar? Let's go back to it. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to it all the way to the toolbox. These are your tools in your toolbox, which would be on the left-hand side in Corel Photo-Paint. That would be your Corel, that would be your toolbox. Would be on your left-hand side, would be your toolbox. Okay? Okay. Alright, so where were we? Where were we? The brush tool, the proverbial brush tool. The paint tool. So this is part of this is part of the brush tools, okay? The paint tool lets you paint on an image by using the foreground color. So whatever color is on top, that would be the foreground, right? So you would click the foreground color, what's on top, with this clicked. So the paint tool you would click, and then you would go over a foreground color. The paint tool lets you paint on an image by using the foreground color. The image sprayer tool. Looks like an aerosol can. There's your atomized paint coming out. This is supposed to be an atomized can or aerosol can. And there is your atomized paint coming out. The image sprayer tool. The image sprayer tool lets you load one or more images and paint them on your image. Now I'll be doggone if that don't sound really cool. That really just sounds cool. You could create an image by using images and just make a design or a shape. That's pretty cool. I like that. That is real nice. We're going to learn about that, I'm sure, some more on how to use it. But remember the icon, image sprayer tool, lets you load one or more images and paint them on your image. Wait a minute, undo brush. That sounds like a useful tool. The undo brush. Look at it again. With the red undo icon, the brush with the undo icon next to it. It's a red undo icon next to the brush, and it is called the undo brush tool. Lets you restore image areas to how they looked before your last brush stroke. Say it again. The undo brush tool. The undo brush tool lets you restore image areas to how they looked before your last brush stroke. The replace color brush tool. The replace color brush tool lets you replace the foreground color in your image with the background color. Now that is nice. That is nice. So remember this, forward and backward or backward and forward, but this would represent your foreground. This one on the where the arrow is pointing, that would represent your foreground color. I'm assuming that would be your background color. Memorize this brush. Memorize what it is. The replace color brush is what this is called. Memorize it. The replace color brush. Memorize it one more time. The replace color brush tool. Replace color brush tool lets you replace the foreground color in your image with the background color. Okay. And we're going to wrap here.